So, so this was your CMOS inverter. For this CMOS inverter, let's draw the architecture. This was your out. This was your in, VDD and ground. This was your source terminal for PMOS. This is a source terminal for NMOS, and this is the common drain for both. So, and the curve was like this. Here was your VIL at this point. Here, whatever cut is VIL, and here it is somewhere VOH. Similarly, at this point it was VIH, and one. This is the region, another region, third. So first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So in this region, both the transistors were in, both the MOSFET were in saturation. And if we see here, if we draw the line, what we see here, V in will be equals to V out. And if this is an ideal inverter, what should be this cross point? This cross point should be equal to half the supply. Ideal inverter means we need the full sync, means half of the supply will go to logic 1 and another half will go to logic 0. Okay. So here both the MOSFETs are on. So if you see in this construction in the MOSFET inverter, if both the MOSFETs are on, there is no output current flowing. So whatever current flowing will be the same. So same concept here, ID of P will be equals to ID of N. And since both are in saturation, I will write here saturation. Okay. And when it occurs at the rate when V in is equals to, let's say VTH of INV, means threshold voltage of inverter. So now we'll write the equation. So saturation current equation we know, ID sat of NMOS is given by half mu n Cox W by L VGS minus VTH whole square. So in this case, what is VGS? VG is V in and VS is 0. So I can rewrite this equation as half mu n Cox W by L, and this Vg means V in, Vs is 0, so 0 minus Vth of n. Now you write the suffix n square. Okay, so we got the equation half mu n Cox W by L, and this also I will write with n symbol. Okay, and then V in minus Vth of n whole square. Let's write capital N. Okay, so this is the ID set of n, and what will be ID set of P? Half mu P Cox W by L of PMOS into VSG minus mod of VTH of P whole square. Now, if you don't consider MOS, then what we can write here? Half mu P Cox W by L of P VSG minus VTH of P. Okay. So you have to take care when you are talking mod and when you are removing mod. So mu P Cox W by L of P VSG plus VTHP whole square. So this is my second equation. Now substituting VSG value, that is half mu P Cox W by L of P. What is VS in the architect design? VS is nothing but VDD and VG is nothing but V in. So VDD minus V in and plus VTHP whole square. So this we got the second equation. Now according to the According to here, what we see here that this both currents should be equal. So now I will equate these two currents. So once I equate these two currents, so half mu n Cox W by L of n into V in minus Vth of n whole square is equals to half mu p Cox W by L of p into VDD minus V in plus VTP whole square. Okay. Now we'll cancel out. Sorry, this mu n will be here. Okay. What can be cancelled out? This and this half can be cancelled out. Okay. Oxide thickness. Let's say both have the same oxide thickness. Then Cox can be cancelled out. Or else what we can do, instead of cancelling out, let us assume we can write in terms of Kn and Kp. Okay. So if you recall, we have derived one constant Kn equals to mu n Cox W by L of n, and Kp we have said as that it is mu p Cox W by L of p. Okay. So since we have derived our this, and one relation was Kr, that was equals to Kn by Kp. So since we have derived VIL and VH in terms of Kr, so let us also derive this equation in terms of Kr. So what we can do here, this and this half can cancel out. Then this mu p mu n Cox W by L and divide by this factor, if I take in the LHS, it will become equals to Kr. So now here what we will do here, now this equation, I will rewrite this equation here. So we can write here it is mu n Cox W by L of n V in minus Vth of n whole square is equals to mu p Cox W by L of p VDD minus V in my plus VTP whole square. Okay. So now take the equate this one as your Kn, so that it will look, equation will be somewhat simpler, and it should be Kp VDD minus V in plus VTP whole square. Okay, so we got this relation. Now what is our target? Our target is to find at what V in, what should be the V in expression, so that we can say that at that point my inverter, both the transistors are in on condition at what particular of V in voltage. So in order to calculate V in, what we can do, we will take here the square root. So and then we will adjust V in the LHS side, and whatever the constant will be there, that we will shift to RHS. So we can write here Kn square root into V in minus Vth of n equals to square root of Kp, and here we can write here VDD minus V in plus VTP. Okay, so we can write like this. Now we have to know what is V in. So Kn V in, and this V in, if I take in the LHS side, what I will get here with a plus symbol, square root of Kp V in, that will be equals to square root of Kp VDD. Sorry, your mistake is there. So okay, let's take this at in the LHS side. So what we'll get here, square root of Kn by Kp, and here it will be V in minus Vth of n mos is equals to, now it looks somewhat okay, plus Vtp. Okay, so From here we can say V in square root of Kn by Kp will be equals to VDD, and this V in will plus V in will come here, so V in I will get here also. So what I will get here, VDD plus VTP, and then plus square root of Kn by Kp Vth of or Vtn. Okay, so from here we can write the V in expression. That V in expression will take the form of Vtn plus what will come here, Vtn, and then plus this is a square root. If I take common, can I do it common?
No.
Mm, so on it, Vdd plus Vtp plus square root of Kn by Kp Vtn divided by 1 plus square root of Kn by Kp. Okay, so this is the V in expression. Okay, so from here we will derive some of the expressions, uh, like now if you see here, this V in is a function of the threshold voltages as well as the Kn by Kp ratio. Now we know for an ideal inverter, my V in at at this in this curve, what should be the V in? For a symmetrical inverter, what should be V in? V in should cut at VDD by 2 such that the output is also VDD by 2. So this means my requirement is, whenever I will design an inverter and I will say that it is an ideal inverter, at that point that this V in is nothing but, the name is also called VTH of INV. This should be equals to VDD by 2. So in order to get this VDD by 2, when it can be possible? So what are the possible case where we can get this one as a VDD by 2? So if my value of this Kn by Kp is equals to 1, so if I say in this equation 1, if I make a condition such that square root of Kn by Kp is equals to 1, okay, and what else? If I make Kn by Kp 1, then what will happen here? It will be, and also that your VDD is greater than, is very much greater than the threshold voltage of your PMOS, or you can say NMOS. Then what will happen to V in? This V in nothing but VTH of INV. What this will be equals to? This VDD is higher, it will go to VDD. These are smaller values, so overall effect will be neglected, and in the bottom we will get here 1 plus 1, that is equals to 2. Okay, so what are the basic requirements? First, my power supply should be high, and second, the ratio should be equals to 1. Okay, now what does this mean? Ratio equals to 1 means what? So Kn by Kp is equals to 1. It means nothing but my Kn should be equals to Kp. So my goal should be that Kn should be equals to Kp. My first observation is this one. Now I will again substitute what is Kn. Kn is mu n Cox W by L of n, and Kp is mu p Cox W by L of p. Okay. So now this, if let's say oxide thickness are same, so this Cox will cancel out. Okay. So now my this ratio of 1 will be function of the mobilities as well as the device dimensions. Now we know that mu n is greater than mu p. Okay, we know that mu n is greater than mu p, approximately I think 2 or 2.5 times it is of mu p. So in that case, what should be the W by n ratio of n with respect to p? It should be greater than or lesser than?
Lesser than.
It should be lesser than, because we have to maintain the equality sign. So once I decided, okay, it should be lesser. So we have got two conclusion. First, we know that it is a property of material that mobility of electron will be higher. We cannot do anything. It is not in the user hand. Second, we come to dimension. Then we say, okay, it is in our hand because user can change this device dimension. So when we come to the device dimension, then the question comes whether we should disturb W or whether we should disturb L. So whenever any MOSFET is fabricated in the industry or whatever, they say that keep the channel length minimum. Channel length minimum means what? In the MOSFET, what is the channel length? The channel length is the conducting region. If this is minimum, means you are reducing the device length dimension, so we can increase more number of transistor in the same chip. So we generally don't disturb L and we go for the change of W. So if L is same here in this equation, if L is constant, if we are not disturbing the channel length and we are working with only the dimension W, then what should be the W? So W we can change accordingly. Okay, if length are same, then W of N should be less than W of P. This means changing the width of the transistor, we can adjust the threshold voltage of the inverter. Okay, we can adjust the threshold voltage of the inverter according to our choice. Okay, so if you look for the graph also, if you'll do the analysis of, let's say if this is your VTH of inverter and this is your KR ratio, KR means KN by KP ratio, so it will come somewhat like this. Okay, it is 0 and it is, let's say, going 4. So somewhere here if it is 1, if it is cutting at 1, so here will be, if your VTA, if your VDD is, let's say, 2 volt, so it will cut at here 1 volt. Okay, so this can be controlled, the inverter design can be controlled through the device dimension W by L. Okay, and if L is constant, then controlling through the W also, we can control the inverter switching voltage. So then the conclusion comes whether only device dimension is important or any other parameter is also important. So let us look for that also. So for that, what we will do here, we will recall this equation 1 once again and we'll check what are the other observation. So from equation 1, what we have got, VTH of INV equals to VDD plus VTP KR into VTN, okay, and 1 plus square root of KR. So we have got here VDD plus VTP plus square root of KR into VT of N divided by 1 plus square root of KR. So we got this one. Now in this, we will write the equation in terms of KR. Means in the LHS, I will put KR and then we will see what the actually KR will depend upon. Okay. So now solve for the KR. So what we'll get here? 1 plus square root of KR into VTH of INV equals to VDD plus VTP plus square root of KR into VTN. Taking KR at one place, so we'll get here square root of KR VTH of INV minus VT of N, and that will be equals to VDD plus VTP and then minus VTH of INV. Okay, this term I have shifted to RHS and this term I have shifted to LHS. So we can write the equation of KR equals to VDD plus VTP minus VTH of INV divided by VTH of INV minus VT of N. So what is this KR now? So this KR I can say it is nothing but VDD plus VTP minus VTH of INV divided by VTH of INV minus Vt of n whole square. Okay, so this is equation 2, and this we got as a KR equation. Now for the ideal inverter, from the previous we have seen that VTH of INV should be equals to VDD by 2. That was the requirement. Now in this case, if I say I want again this VDD by 2, if I substitute here, then what should be actually the KR? Okay, earlier what we have done, we have assumed that VDD was high. Here we have assumed that VDD was high, so these parameters were neglected, and we found that if we try to make this KR value 1, then I can achieve ideal inverter case. Okay, now here I will calculate what should be actually KR. So if and we know this is my requirement, so if I substitute in this equation 2, so from 2, what should be KR now? KR should be equals to VDD plus VTP minus VDD by 2 divided by VDD by 2 minus VT of n whole square. So we can write here KR is nothing but आ जाएगा VDD by 2 plus VT of P divided by VDD of 2 minus VT of n whole square. Okay, this we got a KR equation. Further, we can rewrite in terms of sign convention VDD by 2 minus of minus VTP divided by VDD by 2 minus Vt of n whole square. Okay. Now, in most of the cases, when the device fabrication takes place, NMOS and PMOS, in most of the technology, you will see the threshold voltages of N and PMOS are almost nearby. It hardly different by 0.1 volt. Okay. So if it's said that is the case, let's say assume the threshold voltage of VTH of PMOS is equals to VTH of NMOS. Let's say if both are equal, then what will happen in that case? My KR will change to what will happen in that case? KR will change to VDD by 2. Let's say it is VTH, simply VTH voltage. So KR will be now VDD by 2 minus VTH divided by VDD by 2 minus VT. So from here, what is the analysis? That if the threshold voltages are same for both the transistors, then also we can get KR equals to 1. Okay. So for symmetry, what are the necessary two conditions? Number one, the threshold voltage of NMOS should be equals to the threshold voltage of PMOS. If this is there, then we can easily make this this NMOS inverter, this CMOS inverter as an ideal inverter. And second is, we'll check for KR should be 1. Okay, so these are the two important conclusions that we have to make when we are going for design of a ideal invert case. Okay, and of course if KR is equals to 1, so from where we have got W by L of we got the relation W by L of N divided by W by L of P is equals to mu P by mu N. Okay, so from KR equals to 1, we got this equation, and if we substitute the standard values of mobility, it will result in I think 1 by 2.5 times. Okay, mobility is, let's say, 2.5 times higher. So this means W by L of P, whenever we design W by L of P, we will keep 2.5 times of W by L of N. Okay, so if like say if this is a CMOS inverter, VDD, this is V in, this is V out, and this is NMOS in. In NMOS W by L, if I kept 2 by 0.24, If this is the symbol, this means width is 2 and length is 0.24 micron. Micron is there. So what should be the device dimension of PMOS to in order to achieve the switching at VDD by 2?
What will be the value of W by N for P and
What should be
for
the
P?
what should be the W while of PMOS? It should be 2.5 times of whatever the width of I have assumed for the NMOS case. Okay. So coming to the curve, if this is the curve, let's say if I draw the VTC curve, VTC is voltage transfer characteristic, and this is the curve when Kr is equals to 1. Now what if Kr is increased? So let's say, yeah, if Kr is increased, then what will happen? Increasing Kr means your Kn is greater than Kp. Suppose I have not put it 2.5 times, simply I have placed the same dimension of PMOS and NMOS as well. So what will happen at that time? I definitely my Kn should be greater than Kp. So if Kr is greater than 1, what should this curve? This curve should change its position or not? So for that, we'll check for the noise margin, because this curve, shifting of this curve means it will depend upon number one, this point, another it can depend upon this, or this. So we'll check for this VIL point and VIL and VIH point. So if you recall, what is your VIL point? VIL was given by and VIH both. So if you recall your VIL, it was given by 2V naught plus VTP minus VDD plus KR into VT of N divided by 1 plus KR. And similarly, if you go for VIH, it was given by VDD same. VDD plus VTP plus KR 2V0 plus VT of N divided by 1 plus KR. Okay. So what happens if KR is increased? So if KR is increased, so here it is in the numerator part, it is a function of VTN voltage, and this VTN is less than 1. Whereas in the denominator part it is a isolated term. So definitely this denominator part will be dominating. So here VIL, what will happen if KR is increased? My VIL point will move left or right side.
Left
VIL
side.
left side. So this VIL will move to left side. So earlier if there was a VIL, my next VIL should be here. And what should be VIH value? VIH also will decrease. So it should also reach somewhere here. So now the curve will be, my VH will not be disturbed. However, my VIL will change like this. Okay. So this is when KR is greater than 1. Or we can say, uh, okay, if KR, this is one reference, then KR is greater than 1. And what happens is KR is less than 1. If KR is reducing, so this curve will move to the right side. So somewhere here, and this point will be somewhere here. So now curve will be again here, like this. Okay, so this is for KR less than 1. Okay. Now changing of KR means what? Changing of device dimension. Changing of device dimension means you are changing the curve of the, you are changing the VTC characteristic of the inverter. Okay, so this VTC characteristic is now a function of the device dimension. Now, once the VTC characteristic is a function of device dimension, and we know the threshold voltage that will be fixed. So, since this VTC is changing, what will be the effect on the other parameters? Changing of VTC will affect which parameter? It will affect my noise margin, because VIL and VH points are being changed, whereas VOH and VOL is not changing. My VOH and VOL is fixed. However, my VIL and VH point is changing with respect to dimension. So if I recall my noise margin case, it was given by low noise margin and high noise margin. So low noise margin what? VIL minus VOL, and high was given by VOH minus VIH. So here when KR was increased, so VIL was getting reduced. So when VIL is reducing, what will happen? This VIL is nothing but VIL minus 0, that is VIL. So what will happen? My low noise margin will decrease, whereas for VOH it will be VDD minus VIH. So here if KR is increased, what happens? My VIH decreases, and due to which NMF H will increase or decrease? It will increase. Okay, so now depending upon the transmission, like if you are doing transmission and there is more chances that my logic 1 is getting, because logic 0 means it is no information is there, but logic 1 means there is certain information. And when we are transmitting, definitely if logic 1 is disturbed, then message cannot be recovered. So in that case we need high NMH. So depending upon the type of requirement, we do the device sizing, and then according to the requirement we model the design. Okay, so this way we do the designing of the inverter, and required noise margins, whatever means how much you need, the amount of voltage or swing, that all are decided with the this design equations. So these two are the design equations which plays the role in calculation of the noise margin of the inverter. Okay, so so this was about your static analysis. So now comes the power dissipation. Now you know the modes of operation of the MOSFETs in all the regions. So if I will draw the curve, let's say it was a VTC curve, okay, and this is a inverter, PMOS and NMOS. ठीक है, now we are calculating DC power. DC power means किसी एक condition में when it is either 0 and 1. So this is current here flowing IDP, and this current is IDN. So no current is flowing here. So when NMOS, when it is in this region or in this region, what should be the power dissipation? Now when the power is calculated when it is V into I. Okay, and this I, when this current will flow, when it will take a closed path. Okay, all of you know this. Whenever there is a closed path, then only the current flows. All of you know or not? अगर कोई voltage source है, this is a voltage source. If it is a resistor, and here it is open circuit, I will say what is V out. Here current I is flowing. Here it is 5 volt. Let's say it is 5 is I is flowing. So what should be V out here? V out is nothing but 5 minus I into R. What should be V out here? Here it is open. So what should be V out? Anyone?
0.
0, because no closed path is there, so current will not flow. So in order to make current flow, I need a closed path here. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे कोई लोड लगा दिए, and then a closed path is there, then a current flows. So in either this case or this case, my both transistors are not on. यहाँ तक बात करें और इसके बाद यहाँ तक बात करें. So in this case, no power, zero power dissipation is there. But here, let's say, chalo, this is a transition phase. So here I will not consider. Here I will not consider. In this phase, so these are the 3 points where we can get a closed path for the current to flow. क्योंकि यहाँ पे all transistors are in the on condition. So definitely some amount of current will flow from supply to the ground. Any other way, from input no current can flow because it is a isolated. It is a MOSFET, so no current. IG is zero in both the case. The only possible way the current can take the ground path is through supply, PMOS, through NMOS, and to ground. So the only the way of power dissipation is in these 3 nodes. And where the maximum power will take place, power dissipation, कौन से region में होगा? Let's say it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In which place the most power dissipation will take place? Can anyone
3.
comment? 3 पे. And what is the region?
Saturation.
Saturation.
Yes, good. Because both the transistors are in the on condition, so maximum current is flowing there. Saturation means क्या होता है, device is almost saturated and most of the current is flowing. So here the maximum current will flow. So you will see the power curve. The power curve will go like this. In this region, small power here is so small, and will give a maximum power at this point, and then it will decrease like this. So this is the power curve. Okay, here the maximum power will occur when both the transistors are in the on condition. Fine. So now, since we know there is a short circuit, अगर हम supply से direct short कर दे ground को, then indefinite amount of current can flow. Okay, so that can damage the device. So how to protect this one? अगर हम static power reduce करना चाहें, then how we can reduce this static power? Any observation? देखो, इस कर्व को अगर मैं वो कर दूं, आइडियल जैसा बना दूं, then what will happen? A very small amount of time, जैसे एक झटका लगता है, instantaneous, a pulse like shock will be there, होता है ना? So same like a small amount of power means a very significant power will be there dissipation, but a very for a small fraction of time. So that will not matter the device operation because we have given a very small time for the power dissipation. So making this curve ideal means what? Making this curve ideal means we are trying to make the device towards the ideal condition. We are trying to shift the VTC curve towards the ideal condition. Okay, so your max in your CMOS logic, the most of the power, if you say the significant power is consumed when it is under the dynamic condition, because in the static only this is the point where the power dissipation can occur. If you recall any logic like your AND or XOR, any CMOS logic, the most simplest block, if you see, is an inverter. So inverter is the core block of any logic, and we know in inverter this is the place only where the power dissipation takes place. So if we control this place, then we can reduce the static power. So what is left out in power is dynamic power. Dynamic power means the switching power. So in your CMOS logic, the switching power, we always is the focus to reduce the switching power because static power is almost very less or negligible. Okay, so this was your static, and from next class we will move to the dynamic conditions. Dynamic condition means first we will check how the charging discharging takes place and how whether we can control this charging and discharging, because this curve making ideal is also a function of charging discharging. Since here this, if you see this region is 2 is changing to 3, then 3 is changing to 4, 4 is changing to 5. What is this happening? These all are function of, this all are getting some voltages. This voltages means this is getting a charging and discharging paths. So this charging and discharging means nothing but this is a dynamic condition. Okay, what happens when input is being changed? So that we'll see in the timing behavior, which we'll cover in the next class. Okay.